Hi everyone, let's go through the questions in the worksheet under transmission of sound. Question 1, this is a bell jar experiment. You can watch the video again, it's in the notes. So when the air is sucked out of the bell jar, now when air is sucked out, there are less and less particles in the jar. So you would expect that there are less particles to transmit vibration, so sound will become softer. And then the air is reintroduced back into the jar. So air is allowed to enter. So when air enters the jar, there will be air particles inside. And so now whatever vibration that the bell is making, the vibration will then be passed to the air particles, which will then make the bell jar vibrate. And then you will be able to hear it. So therefore the answer is C. It becomes softer as you remove the medium, and then it becomes louder again as you reintroduce the medium. Question 2, in outer space, it is a vacuum. Remember, a vacuum means there are no particles at all, no air particles at all. Okay, so no air particles. So there are no particles to transmit vibration, so that's why they have to use radio equipment. They will not be able to just speak to one another. The next question, question 3, talks about speed of sound. Remember, solid particles, solid is the medium where you have particles closest to one another, so they will be able to transmit vibration much faster from one particle to the next one. The slowest is gas, because gas particles are actually furthest apart. So in this case, the option where the fastest is a solid and the slowest is a gas is option A. So A is the answer. So let's move on. Question 4. Divers tap a metal rod. Divers tap a metal rod to alert other divers, and the sound is transmitted by vibration. So please take note that every time when we talk about transmission of sound, a few things will happen. The first thing is the source will vibrate. So in this case, when you hit the metal tank vibrates. So the source will vibrate, and the vibration will then be passed to the water molecules. In this case, it's water molecules. The medium is water. So it will then the energy will then be transmitted outwards until it reaches the other diver. So all transmission of sound starts with the source vibrating, and then when the source vibrates, the surrounding particles around it, it can be air, it can be liquid, it can be even a solid, anything that surrounds that source will start to vibrate side to side, and then the vibration will be passed from one particle to the next particle. So take note of this little template of how you answer the question. Until the sound energy reaches the listener's ears, or wherever the question talks about. Okay, sorry. So in this case, all the three processes need to be there. So D is the answer. Okay, so let's move on to the structured questions. The structured question talks about a simple illustration showing the loudspeaker cone. Now, please bear in mind that whenever we answer a question, we should always make sure that our answer follow the context of the question, so that it is not too general. So in this case, the context of the question talks about the cone, and it also say to describe how the sound travel from X to Y. So X is here, Y is here. They also talk about a speaker cone. So this is the context. So when we answer, we try to put this into our question. So remember what we said just now, that the description should be talking about the source vibrating. So in this case, the source is actually the cone. So we'll replace the source with the cone. So the cone will vibrate. And so what is the surrounding particle? The surrounding particle is actually the air particles. So the air particles will also start to vibrate side to side. Because if you look at the question and you look at the diagram, that actually is where point X is. So I'm going to include X in my answer. So check your own answer and make sure you have included words like X and Y, because that's what the question asked for. So you will cause air particles at X to vibrate. The particles will then be passed from particle to particle until it reaches Y. Okay, in this case, instead of listeners' ears, depends on the question. It could be another point in the room, or in this case, is Y. So please answer to the context of the question.